remember the first time we met. It was at our investiture, and you came up to me and you said, you told me what you did, and you said, we're allies. And it immediately put me at ease and made me comfortable in your presence, and I knew we were going to be friends.
I don't remember that. I love that. Yes, I love this. I don't remember. I had a child that ended up having the flu that day, so much of my memory of that day is gone, but I remember thinking an interesting story about you, and I was curious as to what drove you to apply to the Lyceum, and I wanted to know more about you, so that makes sense that I immediately identified with you as an ally. So I remember my biggest one, it might be the same for you. We were on our way to Big Bend, and so it's driving for, I can't remember the subject matter for the conference, but we spent about 8 hours in the car, and we had this policy discussion, and it turned into race discussion, and it was just all of these things. But I remember it was and correct me if I'm wrong, if my memory is wrong, but I remember it being this just Tam and Andrew with other people in the car, but it seemed almost as the other people kind of faded away, and it was just us by ourselves, and having our different perspectives, but with mutual respect and admiration, and just for each other's perspective and way through the world. And I remember you wanting to solve some of the acrimony with how police officers in the nation were being viewed, and me giving you, in my mind, space to share that, but me also, your way was so beautiful. And you were like, it's a PR moment. It's just police get a bad rap, and it's just the media. And I thought, well, I wish in my mind that were true, because to me that's solvable. And I remember saying to you with tears in my eyes, I don't know if you remember this, and I'm about to cry again, that I didn't know one single Black family that had not had a negative experience or knew of somebody with a negative experience with the police. And so it's not just a PR problem, it's a problem that's pervasive. But by that same token, even then and even to this moment, I do not believe police are my enemy. I don't believe that the vast majority of humans and citizens enemies, but I believe that there are some folks that do not do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. I think one of the powerful benefits of being in the Lyceum are that it gives you the opportunity to interface with folks, and in our instance, we became good friends in and around the time when policing was really in the zeitgeist. It really was what people were talking about, and there is a lot of room for improvement in the profession. And so, as somebody who came from the area of my service to the community as a police officer had transformed into being an advocate for the officers themselves. I spent a lot of time helping injured officers, helping their families, and that was something that I was very passionate about. However, through our conversations and through seeing, hearing other perspectives on this issue, it really had an impact, and also the way we were able to discuss our points of view
with love and respect.
With respect, didn't always change our perspective entirely, but it certainly melded the perspective by giving us, that new information that came from that respectful relationship.
Yeah. I'm glad we had all those conversations. I really am. It helped me as well.
Thank you.
It's vital to have civil discourse, you're not going to always agree, right? And if you want to truly make the world better than when you found it, you have to be able to do so in a way, in a manner that seeks to understand, and not just a way to, I've got to get my point across or make you believe what I believe. It's not necessary for the greater good to make someone believe that you believe. And I think once you allow yourself to be sectioned off with only people that look like you, think like you, are from your same socioeconomic bracket, I think you deaden your spirit a little bit each time you do that. I enjoy the ability to be able to challenge myself, to find others that are different than I am. And the funny, odd thing is that even though we had different perspectives, through time we found out that we weren't so different after all, right? And so, and I think that's what civil discourse to me ultimately means, that once you get through the fray of the difference, you're able to discover the humanity that bonds you.
Civil discourse benefits greatly from strong personal relationships. And the Lyceum is one of those rare opportunities that you can have to really form strong relationships with people from very diverse political beliefs. And as a result, it allows that civil discourse to happen, and it cultivates that. And that's one of the, I think, the truly amazing aspects of this organization.
I have to say that this, no pun intended, this is my partner in crime. You are. Whatever it is and I'm thinking, how crazy or insane, I am comfortable being able to come to you and say, am I crazy? Am I seeing the world in a different way than everyone else? And sometimes he'll say, yeah, that's all you. And other times he'll say, no, I see your point, but it made me a better leader because I have someone that I can get a gut check, that I trust, that I love, I respect, and I know that you won't always agree with me, right? And that I know that you have the courage and the stamina to tell me that, no, this is a different way and I have a different perspective. So I think it makes me be able to have patience for other people sometimes. Sometimes it also allows me, the relationship that you and I have had, to call BS when I see it and cut it off too. And so it's definitely made me way better than before.
The relationships that I've gained through this organization, and specifically our relationship, has benefited me tremendously because you're an excellent example of grace and poise and navigating the world with what appears to be exceptional ease, although I know that your journey is difficult, and so that has given me quite a bit of strength in my own times of difficulty, and so I do really appreciate our relationship in that regard.
Me too. And what I'm going to add is your devotion to others, and particularly officers, has humbled me over the years in ways that I don't think I could have expected.
The advice I would give to leaders in Texas is, in terms of practicing civility, is don't let, and I have to preface this by saying I heard this from the speaker today at our meeting, and I found the words really inspiring and very true, and so I believe they're worthy of repeating, which is don't let your personal ambition really drive your lack of civility. And I think that what that meant to me, and the advice I would give others, is Being divisive is sometimes advantageous, and true leaders should not take that shortcut.
You've got to stay open. I believe most leaders are trying to solve issues, and you can't do that when you shut down completely. And we can have our preconceived notions. We can prejudge an issue without having read about it or known someone who's different than the issue that we're looking at. And I don't believe necessarily that's inherently bad. I think the bad part comes in when you won't let go of something when something else is in front of you. And I think that's a travesty, actually, when someone is showing you, or an issue is proving to be something other than what you thought it was, and you won't let go of how you first thought of it. I think that's when we get into a ton of trouble by holding on to basically a prejudice. That's what I named.